Somehow when I travel, my wife always thinks I'm about 10 years old. Oh, not even 10 years old, 6 years old. Like she needs to pin a note to my shirt in order for me to have instructions for when I get there. Yeah, that's what she does. And there's probably some reason for feeling that way. I mean, I've lost things, I've lost suitcases, I've lost bags, just a lot of things that I've probably needed help on. But one of the things that I remember most in trying to recall different things, I remember, I don't know, it's been many years ago that I worked for an organization that I had to travel internationally for. And I was going to Russia, and I was going to what we would think of as Siberia, one of the coldest places there is. And I like to put a suitcase kind of out of the way in the bedroom, and then I just kind of throw things in it so I don't forget things. Over the course of that 2 weeks, I kind of accumulate in there. And one day after I had done that for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days, I was digging around and I found a pair of long underwear. Well, I don't wear long underwear. I'm not going to wear long underwear. I mean, they're men's pantyhose. I'm not wearing long underwear. And I asked Joy about it, and she said, yeah, I bought those at Walmart. And she said, you're going to need those. I know where you're going, and you're going to need that long underwear where you're going. And I said, thank you, appreciate your thought. But I said, I don't need the long underwear because I said I need the space in the suitcase, and I said, I'm not going to wear it. And about 2 days later, I'm throwing more stuff in there, and I don't know how or why, but in a pair of the pants that were in there, stuffed down in one of the legs was that long underwear. So I pull it out and I put it on the dresser, and I didn't say anything. And but somehow I just kind of had the feeling that's going to show up again later. And it was the day that I was to leave to go on the trip, and I remember it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was closing up the suitcase, but I just somehow there was something said to me, this isn't over. So I'm on my way to the airport by myself, and I decided I'm going to go by my office. And I'm going to go by my office and just see if that long underwear is in my suitcase. So I did this. I go by my office, and I put the suitcase up on my desk, and I'm digging through, and right there it is. And I said, I'll show her. I pulled it out. I stuffed it in a drawer on my desk, and took off and caught a plane. And I don't know, maybe 18 hours later, I arrived in Moscow, and it was 9 degrees. And that was as warm as it ever got. And I have never been so cold in all of my life. And in fact, the hotel where I was staying, I could see my breath when I would breathe, because at that time they still had centralized government, and all the heat came from downtown, and it would be like burning up for about 2 hours, and then before it would come back to your sector, it would be freezing cold. I mean, just as cold as you can imagine or can imagine. Also, I journaled. And I journaled every day. I don't know, it was the 4th or 5th day I opened up the journal to write in it, and there was an entry already in the journal. And this is what it said. I bet you would like to have that long underwear. Right there it was. She knew. She knew what I would do. She knew how I would respond. She knew the circumstances I would find myself in. And right there it was on day number 5 in the journal. I bet you would like to have the long underwear now. And you better believe I would have liked to have had it. You know, we're pretty predictable as people, pretty predictable as creatures. And whether or not we see that, we really are. Even though we like to think we're unique and, you know, come up with something new every time, we're pretty predictable. I am. Going on another trip. This weekend, I'm going to Italy, going to Rome. It's the year of Jubilee, which comes every 50 years. I'm going to be there. Not only that, I'm going to try to cover it live on my Facebook. So I'll post the times when I'm going to cover it live. But I want you to watch this video. I want you to share this video. I want you to subscribe it. I want you to like it. And then I want you to watch on Facebook for when I'll be live in the Vatican. I'm not thinking I'm going to see the Pope, but who knows? I might get a pizza here or there, maybe some fettuccine alfredo or something like that. Learn a few Italian words, but I'm going to be there, and I'm going to try, if I can, to broadcast live while I'm there. Maybe from the Vatican, the Basilica. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But most of all, you got to watch. You got to keep your eye open for it on Facebook and YouTube. I'll see you on the other side of the world.